Okay. Do you guys, fellow migrainers, use this type of stuff? It's supposed to not heal migraines, because that's not how you heal a migraine, but it's just like for pain relief. And you just pop it up in the freezer, and 15 minutes later, when it's all cold and stuff, you just apply it, and it's supposed to bring you some relief from your evil migraine. I'm usually not one to buy stuff like this. You know what? It actually works. Anywho, that's not the subject of today's video. So let's talk about today's video. Excuse me while I actually put it where it belongs. So I think that AI will win because we're lazy. It will be the only reason why it wins. So I'm going to tell you two stories that happened to me, stuff that I found crazy. These two things to me very obviously illustrate that the problem with AI is not whether or not it will become sentient one day, or whether we will achieve super artificial intelligence, which is probably already a thing. I don't think that the machines are the problem. We are, as always, and as it will always be the case, the problem. It's us. So the first thing that happened was just a few months ago. I don't know how it is in other countries, but here in France, I think that it's the same everywhere around the globe, but here in France, when you go do any type of shopping, any type of buying in a store, the price that you see on the shelf, like in the aisle of whatever product you want to buy, is the price that you're gonna pay at checkout. So let's say you I don't know, you want to buy a bottle of milk. What's written on the shelf is I don't know, €5. One bottle of milk for €5. You know what? I'm laughing because, of course, it's not the case today, but who knows? Who knows how far inflation will get us? Let's say, one bottle of milk is priced at €1. When you arrive at checkout, the cashier says, okay, $2.50. So, of course, what happened is that, wrote down, oh my gosh, my earring almost ripped my ear off. Wait a second. Is my lobe still here? Okay. Good. So even if it was mispriced, because you picked it up thinking that it was €1, even if it's $2.50, the rule, the law here, and I think everywhere, is that the store has to charge you what you thought the product was. So what happened was that I went to buy some powdered milk. The price that I saw on the shelf was something like €3-ish. And when I arrived at checkout, the cashier said $4.50 or something. So I was like, oh, but the price indicated on the shelf was 3 something. And he was like, no, but the machine says $4.50. So I say, okay, the machine says $4.50, but it's written on the shelf 3. And when that happens, normally the client is supposed to pay what he saw when he picked up the product. And he was like, he didn't want to hear anything. He was like, no, but the machine says $4.50. I'm sorry, but it's $4.50. The machine says $4.50. And there were 2 people waiting in line before me, and I just don't like being the person who makes everyone late or whatever. But I was getting a little annoyed because it wasn't about the fact that, okay, the store made a mistake and that the law says that the way to fix that mistake is just to let the client pay what the client saw. What really bothered me about that situation was he was just looking at his screen and he kept repeating, the machine says. He didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to hear anything. He didn't want to go in and check. He was like, no, the machine says $4.50. The machine says that, it's $4.50. And I was just standing there looking at him but the machine doesn't say anything. The machine is a software. The machine is programmed by an actual person. And I wanted to ask him, are you an actual person? The machine says something is written on the machine the machine is indicating something, and I'm going to follow the machine to a T. I'm not even going to use common sense. I'm not going to use empathy. I'm not going to use everything that makes me not a machine, everything that makes me a human, No, the machine says. The machine says, so I'm going to do what the machine says. Sir, I really hope that you never find yourself in a situation where you will need human common sense, you will need human warmth or human judgment, and that instead of an actual human displaying the full range of their human capacities and empathy, you find yourself in front of a machine, a human machine, i.e. someone like you who looks at a screen and says, the screen is the way and the truth, and whatever the screen says, whatever the machine says, is what will be. Please, people, let's be better. Story number 2. There is a food place down the building where my sister lives. So what happened that day was that, and I go there very often. That's also what made me very sad, and it made me feel weird because I'm a regular there. Not really a regular, but they know me. They know my face, I know their faces. So I went there to buy just one bottle of San Pellegrino. The way this place works, you know how McDonald's are nowadays, for those of you who still go there? And I think that every fast food place is designed like this nowadays. You have to go and order on the screen. There are many booths. You have a ordering booth, and you go, and it's all tactile, and you go and you just order your food through the screen, you pay, and then a ticket comes out from the machine, the glorious machine. You go to the cashier, you give them the ticket. Even just saying this, isn't this crazy? Is this normal that we have to order food like this now? Go to the machine, touch the screen, and then you're given a ticket. On your ticket is a number. When your food is ready, they call for the number. They say 502. It's so crazy. We shouldn't get used to this. But back to the story, it's one such place. It's not a fast food chain, but they have installed this in their restaurant. That's just how it works there. So I went there one afternoon. I was in a good mood, which is always, anyway. So I went there one afternoon to get that sparkling water. There was not one soul in that restaurant. It was just me and the woman at the counter. It was just the two of us. There was nobody. So I figured, because usually when I go there, I stick by the rules. I just go to the screen, take whatever it is I want to take, and wait for the ticket, and then I give the ticket. I just stick by the rules. But that day I thought that since there was nobody in the store, so there was no, she wasn't in a rush or anything, and that all I wanted was one bottle of water, of sparkling water, I thought that there was no way that from human to human, I would need to go to a machine. Okay, so first of all, if I have to describe the store, the waters, just all the drinks are behind them, at the counter. So they're the ones, because there are places where you have access to the fridge and you go and pick up the drinks yourself. But this was, for them, the fridge is behind them. So they are the ones who have to pick up the drink anyway, even if you give them the ticket. So I get in, I went to her and I said, hi, one San Pellegrino, please. And she looks at me and she says, she shows me the machine, okay. She was on her phone, our dear phones. I'm not, trying to be, I'm recording this on a phone. So, we all do this. But I think that there should be limits. So let me continue the story. So she looks at me like, the ticket, like, did you order at the machine? And I immediately felt, this weird peer pressure. You're just feeling inadequate because everyone around you seems to be doing the same thing. So you instinctively you wonder if naturally the thing to do is probably to follow everyone, but then you feel so uncomfortable because you think, no, this is not the way to do it. It shouldn't be like this. So she goes, did you order at the machine? And I start smiling, this awkward smile that every socially awkward person knows. I say no, but since I just wanted one bottle, I thought, and she goes, she wasn't mean, I want to make that clear, but she made a point, she made it a point to show me that she was annoyed. She was on her phone, and if I had gone to the machine and, taken the ticket, all she would have had to do was, it was just the whole, she didn't want to interact unnecessarily. I mean, you are managing a food place. Clients are supposed to be you're supposed to interact with them anyway, but it was just the whole, because I think that if I don't go to the machine, then she has to do the thing herself in the computer in front of her, and she didn't want to do that. Just like the guy, at the supermarket, he didn't want to do stuff that the machine could do instead of him, even if the thing in question is questionable. So we just had this awkward moment, and then I was like, oh, it's okay, I'll go take the ticket. And then she was like, no, it's okay. But she wasn't smiling anymore. Like, I don't think I need to drag the story to make the point of what happened. She wasn't exceptionally mean, but she really made it a point to, the message was, next time you just have to go through the machine first. Like, this is just the protocol. And now I have to go get the San Pellegrino. Then, I have to type stuff that I have to do things that I wouldn't have needed to do had you just gone to the machine first. The machine is supposed to make my life easier working here, and you want to drag us back to the past where, it was like, hey, how can I help you? What can I serve you? Oh, this whole thing. People don't want this anymore. Yeah, I don't know if feeling offended or feeling sad at these things is too much, and if I'm in the minority, and if I'm being too dramatic, but I just think that we need to be very careful with where this is taking us, where we are taking ourselves.